Right, so I'm recording my next video, and this is going to be a book review, but I think what I'm going to do on this video is actually make it better, because my last two videos that I've recorded, I've got a funny feeling that I rushed into them a little bit, and I didn't actually explain too much about them as much as I did, because I was too busy rushing to do them while I was watching something on television. But it doesn't matter anyway, because they've been done, and they've still got their merit of what they are about. But this is going to be a book review, because I bought a book, well, should I say, Mum bought a book, basically, for my dad, which I love as well, so we've really got it, I suppose, to share, because it's to do with Northern Soul, and it is. Now, a lot of people, before I do show you this book, a lot of people who like Northern Soul would have already seen this book, because it's already been posted on YouTube by a well-known DJ and collector who's actually done the book, and therefore there's already a review on it. But I thought I would give my review on this book. That is the brand new 7th edition of, wait for it, should do a drum roll. No, not really a drum roll, is it? Manship's USA Price Guide. Now, it's not just any old price guide. Now, this costs £75. Now, I know a lot of people are thinking, £75 for a book? Yes, but it is a very special book. Now, unlike any of the price guide that John Manship's done before, this is the Bible of all Bibles when it comes to Northern Soul collecting. And the reason for that is because it's got lots of new information in it. It's included LPs in here. Now, at the back, it's been able to do scans and pictures. Now, there are scans and pictures of various Northern Soul records, which include some from his own collection, auctions, Northern Soul originals, Northern Soul reissues, counterfeits and bootlegs for anybody who might be struggling about what is an original and what isn't. And as I said, there is also pages for other people like DJs who have done their very own scans and that. Basically, the biggest difference about this book to any other book that John Manship's ever done, and this has taken him 20 years to do it, is basically, and this is the basic information about it, is that information really is absolutely priceless. What it is, it tells you basically everything you need to know about collecting Northern Soul music. Now, I wouldn't say every Northern Soul record that's ever been recorded or has played on the scene or anything like that, or particularly soul music has ever been played out on the scene would be in this book, because it's impossible. And that would be absolutely something that can't be done. But what has been put in here is the records that are worth money, specifically. It's like any price guide. If you buy a normal price guide on music, not every artist, not every record can be in it. And like John Manship would say, this isn't a discography. You're not looking at it from a point of view to say, I find an artist like Jackie Wilson and I'm going to get a discography of everything that he's ever recorded, because that's not what it is, by a long mile. But there are lots of things in here, and specifically, you know, there's all the different genres on there, and it gives you what they basically mean. So you've got NOR, which is Northern. That's his typical Northern Soul record, and that 70s means modern soul and anything basically in the 1970s onwards. You've got BAL, a collectible 45, which can be a ballad or a collectible for the artist or the label. BL, blues recording. DF, deep soul and southern soul, which is a collectible market these days. F, funk, deep funk, that kind of thing. LAT, Latin. A 60s dance 45, which is quite popular over in Europe and places like that. M, a 45 that is just motown related. NOR said RB, R&B. reggae XO, which is late 60s and early 70s crossover music. And as I was saying, the reason why it's special and it's 20 years in the making, because it actually does include information that has never really been done before by John Manship, and that is to distinguish basically what is an original to a counterfeit or a bootleg or anything like that. And if I use my example, you've got Jackie Lee. Just say Jackie Lee, right? So let's say we want to collect Jackie Lee's music, right? And we would like to get Oh My Darling on vinyl record. It will tell us in here, basically, all about the label it's on, which for a DJ copy is £75, for a normal version £30. However, it does say you can get a copy which might look like an original, but it's got Matrix Repro. Now, repro would mean reproduction. So, basically, there's a lot of things in here that will distinguish which is basically an original to a bootleg and all that. Because a lot of people will often buy a record, and I've done it many times, and the first thing that you look at, you go, it looks like an original, sounds like an original, but is it an original? And the first thing somebody will say is, no, it might not be. And that is because you've got the variations of copies that are out there. Now, of course, it's very easy to spot on some. Some Northern Soul records have been reproduced and they've obviously been released again over the years. So you might find like in the 90s or the noughties where you've got a record that's been reproduced on the same label as the original, but what they've got is they've got a logo on there like Out of Sight Records or something like that. Which you know when you see something like that, you say, oh, we know that's actually going to be a reissue and not the original. But there's a lot of records out there that when you get them, you pick up a copy of a record and you put it next to an original. And it's sometimes hard to tell because people say, I can't tell because what is the original? Sometimes it's based on the colour of the label, so it might be that you have to have a black label rather than a purple label to get the original. Sometimes it's like that, or sometimes it's based on the dead wax. Maybe the colour's darker or lighter, so you might think that there's like an orange label, and the fact is that the original might be dark, a really dark orange, where the reproduction and a bootleg, a counterfeit, whatever, might be a more lighter orange. But other things do come into play when it simply is the text. Like, you could say that is basically black and white. So what might happen is you might get the label like an Atlantic label where it's sort of like black and white. And then when you look at it, you go, nah, you got to think about the text. The text could be red. And by the red text means it could be basically meaning that it's a bootleg and not an original, because the original would have, say, the black writing. Things like dead wax, you know, using the right serial numbers in the dead wax and things like that. He often uses the groove at the end of a record where it's longer or shorter to determine which is basically an original or not. So there's all that, basically, and it's a fantastic book. It took 20 years in the making for John Manship to basically do that. He's a well-known collector and DJ and that of soul music and that. And I think it's an absolutely fantastic book. And I've loved basically reading it because it's basically given me, basically, when I've checked my collection and certainly my dad's Northern Soul collection, which is together, to see what we've got that's original and not an original. So yeah, I think it's a fantastic book, and I absolutely loved it when I first saw it, and thought I just had to tell Mum that can we get it, because it's going to be invaluable information, I think, for anybody who collects Northern Soul. And I think, to end off with, I think the reason why sometimes also with collecting original Northern Soul records is you can tell whether it's an original to not an original by the price, basically, when you're paying for it, because unless you have seriously gone somewhere and no one knows what an original basically is, and has got an original and sells it cheap, then you're in luck. But a lot of Northern Soul records are worth a lot of money, so generally you know what you're getting when you see a record like that might be an original Northern Soul record that could be worth something like £800, right? As an example, or one that could be worth, say, £1,000, or one that could be worth £500. These are just examples, but you know what it's like when you get to that stage and you say, right, I found these 3 records, they're worth what I've just said, and yet when I've spotted the records in some record shops and online and that, they're selling for £10, they're selling for 15. You know they're not going to be an original, because no way would somebody want to sell a record that's worth £1,000 for, say, £10, because it's not an investment. So you can always tell on that side of things, but yeah, that's just basically what it is. It's a lovely, lovely idea that it's been sort of like 20 years in the making for this. It's invaluable information. It's fantastic to know what to look for when it comes to collecting Northern Soul records and other soul records in that. And with the LP thing, what is also done, because this is what makes it interesting, is with the LPs, you put down the songs that they go for. Why do you want the LP? People don't sometimes buy the LP because they want to hear all of the tracks on it. They buy the LP because they want to basically have 1 or 2 songs that are on the LP that you probably can't get on a single, basically, and that's why they buy the LP for. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there because it's been a very long review of this fantastic book, which is worth what we paid for it, basically. So yeah, and I think I'll leave it there. So bye for now.